welcome back to my channel. My name is Jennifer and I am HIV positive. This is a channel about me living my life with HIV. And today we are going to talk about blood donation. So before we get started into this video, I have to share something that I found out from my doctor. I've always wondered where my pneumonia came from. I thought when I got really sick, I thought that maybe I just went into my local grocery store and I just whiffed it up into my nose, and then it went into my lungs, and then I had PCP pneumonia, which stands for pneumocystic pneumonia, PCP. Pneumo is actually P. She said, nope, that's not it. So basically what it is this is something that already existed in my body, and what happens is that my immune system became so compromised that this bacteria that's in me, it's a bacteria, was able to flourish, and my body could do nothing about it at the time, and so that's why it took off. And so it wasn't something I picked up down the street, which is what I always wondered, like, how did I all of a sudden get PCP pneumonia? It's just something that we have in us. Do you guys know that all of you out there who don't have HIV, that think you're like all head to toe, I'm so clean, I got nothing in me, and you guys are all dirty and you're infected with viruses? Well, I want to tell you something. You guys are a cesspool of viruses and bacteria. Every human is full of bacteria and viruses. Let me tell you how many. Biologists estimate that 380 trillion viruses are living on and inside your body right now. 10 times the number of bacteria. Some can cause illness, but most and many just coexist with you. So I just happen to have one that's in me now that needs to be regulated by medication. And it totally is. It's manageable. It doesn't affect me. Okay, on to donating blood. What does it all mean? If you know my story, you know that I take a pill a day and the virus is undetectable, meaning that I cannot transmit the virus, meaning that when they take my blood, they cannot even find it. So people wonder, can you donate blood when you're HIV positive? The answer is a big resounding no. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And I know most of you are thinking, well, yeah, I don't want anyone with HIV to donate blood. But of course, there are those people who might think, well, if you're undetectable, it might not be an issue anymore. But here's the deal. Like, we know that it won't happen sexually, but why is it that we can't donate blood? I know for sure 100% we cannot transmit it sexually, and that is without a condom. And for all of those that freak out and think that I'm promoting unsafe sex without a condom, that is not what I'm doing. I don't know why I have to explain that every time. I'm not saying don't use a condom. I'm saying for those who are HIV positive that know they're undetectable, maybe they have a partner that's always been afraid. Maybe they've always been afraid, thinking they can transmit it. They cannot. That's just information that needs to be out there. It's not me promoting unsafe sex. It's just me sharing information about what HIV is today. And what it is today is that when you're undetectable, it's always been this, but they just had to do the studies to prove it. And now the studies are there and it supports all the evidence. And so now we can talk about it, because guess what? No one else was talking about it. Then social media became a thing, and people like myself and Bruce Richmond and all the advocates out there, we have a platform now so we can talk about it, because we can't leave it to ABC, CBS, and NBC, because no one's gonna do it for us. It's not like it's a new thing. It's just that the research was done and now it's being spread through social media. Here's the deal with donations of blood. And by the way, Magic Johnson did not donate blood. I guess there was a post that used a 2012 photo of Magic Johnson to falsely claim he had donated blood. Those commenters need not worry, because the post was a joke and not true. That was all fake. All right, so we can let that go. But there are obviously people that are concerned. This is an article from pause.com. Concerns arise over blood donated by people on antiretrovirals. It says, given that the small number of people donating blood in the United States are taking antiretrovirals, researchers have expressed concern that such medication use, whether as HIV treatment or pre-exposure prophylaxis like Truvada, if you're taking it to prevent HIV transmission, it could mask the presence of HIV and allow the virus into the blood supply. The Food and Drug Administration already bans people living with HIV from donating blood. So that said, people who have the virus but do not know it could wind up giving blood. That's a thing, only to be diagnosed through the process. All blood is screened for the presence of HIV before it enters the US blood supply. The FDA recently reduced from 12 months to 3 months the deferral period that men must wait to give blood after having had sex with another man. For decades, there was a lifetime ban on donations from men who had ever had sex with another man. Some blood donation centers may also require that a donor be off PrEP for 30 days before donating. Research has solidly proved that people with HIV maintain a fully suppressed viral load. Thanks to ARV treatment, they cannot transmit the virus sexually. However, according to Brian Custer, Vice President of Research and Scientific Programs at the Talent Research Institute of San Francisco, and the author of the new study on blood donation. It remains theoretically possible that an HIV positive person with an undetectable viral load could transmit the virus to an individual who receives a blood donation from them. The sheer volume of blood transfused could give rise to transmission. So it's about the amount. So with sexual transmission, the amount is so much smaller, and this is blood being put directly into someone's blood supply. It's like sharing a needle for drugs. There can't be a more direct way to get the virus into you than sharing that needle. It says more research is needed on this topic. Okay, so then there's a whole study here on people who are actually taking ARVs or men who are on PrEP with regards to donating blood. They didn't donate blood, don't worry. It's just about screening. So they said that there is no direct evidence that any HIV transmissions have occurred under these circumstances. What they conclude is persons who are HIV positive and taking ARV treatment, like myself, and persons, that always sounds like a weird word, taking PrEP to prevent HIV infection are donating blood. Both situations could lead to increased risks of HIV transfusion transmission if blood screening assays are unable to detect HIV in donations from infected donors. So it's better, obviously, not to risk this. I'll include a link to this article in my description. I had reached out to Stephen Deak. He's at UCSF. My doctor actually knows him. He's been really nice to answer some of my questions. He is a professor of medicine in residence at the University of California, San Francisco, and a faculty member in the Division of HIV, Infectious Diseases, and Global Medicine at Zuckerberg San Francisco General Hospital. Dr. Deak has been engaged in HIV research and clinical care since 1993. He is a recognized expert on HIV-associated immune dysfunction and its impact on HIV persistence, the reservoir, that's the little area in the cell that the medication cannot get to, and it's the only reason why I'm still positive, and health during antiretroviral therapy. Dr. Deak has published over 500 peer-reviewed articles, editorials, and invited reviews on these and related topics. Okay, so the guy is obviously incredibly versed on HIV. And so I wrote to him, it's been about a year, I wrote to him and asked him about the transmission through a blood donation and versus like why it doesn't happen sexually. Like we know that it won't happen sexually, but why is it that we can't donate blood? So this is what he said to me. About 1 in 1 million. I feel like I've read this to you guys before. If I have, I really apologize. This might be in another video. I don't know why I feel like I read this. About 1 in 1 million of your CD4 cells has a virus that can replicate and infect others. So that's in regards to myself. So 1 in 1 million. People on ART like myself have about 1 million or so cells with replication competent virus in their entire body. And these infected cells produce virus daily, but my drugs block the virus from spreading. So without the ability to infect new cells, the virus dies quickly. No harm is done. Cells can make virus all day, but the drugs prevent any real harm. So if these cells are transmitted into another person via a blood transfusion, then the situation is very different. If a cell starts releasing virus, this is the scary part, nothing will stop it from spreading. The virus takes off just as if someone has an acute infection, and the cells act as Trojan horses. So if a person is on effective ART treatment, these infected cells, they do not get transmitted to partners during sex. So blood transfusion is different. I think it has to do with volume of blood and fluid in general and being directly put into the bloodstream. I've just said that before, but I'm just going to say it again. And I believe with sexual transmission, it's just not possible because there's not enough fluid, and it's like the bloodstream and all of that. It's just everything's so minute that it's just the possibility isn't there. That's me. I'm not an expert, I'm not a doctor, but I'm kind of getting that's what they're saying. I know that breastfeeding runs along the same lines. It has to do with quantity, so much milk constantly going into the baby, even if you're undetectable. But the risk is apparently really low, like under 1%. So I know a lot of women who are HIV positive who have nursed and there's been no issues, but they can't rule it out 100% yet for breastfeeding. But sexually, it cannot be transmitted. They know that for sure. That's like done deal, done deal. And also it can't be transmitted from mother to baby during the birthing process. That's also been eliminated, and it's part of the U=U campaign or slogans. Okay, I hope that explains that. I mean, it's truly a bummer. I really wish that I could donate blood. I have in the past before I was HIV positive. I can't do it anymore. It's something that I would definitely do as a person without HIV, but I'm no longer allowed to do it. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for showing up. Oh wow, I totally forgot to do an outro to that video. Sorry about that. So yeah, check the links in the description of this video to find more information on what I just talked to you guys about, or where to find me. Leave some questions in the comments if you want. We have rats in our backyard. Like, I'm gonna see if I can actually try to show you guys. Hold on. Do you see? Look at this. Look at that. It's my fault. I got a bird feeder and we've got like literally 6 rats that hang out in the backyard. They're really cute. Okay, guys. See you soon. Ciao. Peace.